To understand the Aztec Eagle Warrior, you have to forget everything you think you know about war.
Seriously, we've got to throw out our modern playbook. It doesn't apply here.
Instead, let's step into their world, a universe that's alive, aware, and perpetually thirsty.
And that fuel was human blood. No, that is not a metaphor.
See, at the heart of it all was their sun god, and he wasn't some distant figure either. He was in a constant battle. Every single dawn he was born, and every dusk he died fighting.
So for the sun to rise again the next morning, he needed strength. He needed fuel for that fight.
That fuel, the most potent energy in their cosmos, was found in only one place: human hearts. Now here's the part you really have to grasp. To the Aztec, this wasn't just some belief.
It was a law of physics, as real and as undeniable as gravity is to us today.
This created a kind of cosmic debt, an imbalance in the universe that simply had to be repaid.
And this single powerful truth was the foundation for their entire civilization. Everything revolved around it.
And this is where the Eagle Warrior, the Huitzilopochtli, comes in. His job? To keep reality itself going.
So forget fighting for land or for a king. His motivations were on a completely different level.
Think of him less as a soldier and more like a sacred harvester, a holy farmer even.
But his crop wasn't corn. It was the vital energy needed to feed a dying sun.
Which means, for them, war wasn't some kind of political failure, not at all.
It was the ultimate religious act. Every single battle was a kind of violent, sacred prayer.
In this ritual, the warrior was the high priest, the battlefield his most sacred temple. You see, to get inside his head, we have to accept his reality, not our own. Imagine waking up to that question every single day. The sun is dying. What will you do?
And it all began the moment a boy was born. His destiny was literally sealed into the earth.
This entire ritual locked in his fate. His life was meant for the battlefield.
So from his earliest memories, war, honor, and sacrifice all became the same heroic thing.
Then came school. And trust me, this was not your average classroom experience.
You had two tracks, the Telpakali for commoners and the elite Kalmakak for nobles.
But both schools were absolutely brutal. We're talking non-stop extreme hardship.
The whole point? Break down the individual to rebuild him as part of a perfect warrior unit.
A huge part of this was desensitization, making violence feel, well, totally normal.
Boys learned violence wasn't ugly, but a necessary and even beautiful part of the universe.
But all that physical training, it wasn't enough to make a boy into a man.
So, what was that final test? The one that proved he was truly a warrior?
In his first battle, the main goal, it actually wasn't to kill the enemy. Nope, he had to capture an opponent and bring him back alive. Just think about that. It takes both pure aggression and incredible self-control.
Bringing back a captive was proof of manhood and a sacred gift for the gods.
And if he pulled it off, the social reward was just immense. His status exploded overnight.
So first, you do the hard part. Capture an enemy in the chaos of battle.
Then, you're showered with honor. You become an instant hero. And this forges a powerful psychological link. Combat equals glory. Violence equals validation.
And there you have it. The living weapon was finally forged, tempered, and sharpened.
He was now ready to take part in the most sacred ritual, the Flower War.
We're going to dive into the strange paradox of the Aztec Flower War. It was something else.
This wasn't about grabbing territory. It was a totally sacred and organized kind of warfare.
And the goals? They were completely flipped on their head compared to a normal war.
You see, the Aztecs believed their gods literally needed divine energy just to survive.
So captured warriors weren't enemies to be hated. They were sacred vessels, a precious offering.
Basically, combat became this crucial act to keep the entire cosmos in balance.
So what kind of mindset do you need for this? It took a really unique mental state.
Yeah, this was not about going berserk. The goal wasn't to just lose control and rampage.
Instead, warriors entered the state of, well, hyper-focused predatory clarity, almost like a hunter.
And this whole transformation was helped along by some pretty incredible costumes and rituals.
This helped the warrior leave his human self behind, to act with a divine purpose.
The entire battlefield was basically a stage, and every move was a performance for the gods.
This totally changed what they feared. Personal survival just wasn't the main driver.
A successful capture wasn't about personal glory. Nope, it was seen as a successful prayer.
In fact, even getting injured was seen as a mark of your devotion to the gods.
So to pull this off, you had to be this unique blend of ferocious and artistic.
Even their main weapon, the maquahuaral, was designed for this. It was meant to injure, not kill.
Think about it. Extreme violence, but with the precision of a sacred ritual. Incredible. The Eagle Warrior wasn't a butcher. He was more like a collector of masterpieces for the gods.
A brave opponent wasn't just an enemy. He was the masterpiece, a perfect gift for a god.
For us, the goal's simple, right? Live as long as you possibly can. Our whole world is basically built around fearing death and trying to delay it.
Okay, but what if you flip that? What if the goal wasn't a long life, but a good death?
For the Aztecs, that was the point. They called it Huitzilopochtli, a beautiful death.
This wasn't something to fear. It was a glorious destination, something you had to achieve.
And how you died decided everything. A beautiful death meant light. An ordinary one, darkness.
So this belief just completely rewired everything. Ambition for glory replaced the fear of death.
This even changed how they saw enemies. Captured warriors were treated like living saints.
So, the captive's journey to sacrifice was seen as an honorable path they often took with pride.
You see, for them, this wasn't defeat. It was the ultimate fulfillment of being a warrior.
And here's the kicker. The captor knew that one day, this could be his fate too.
That shared destiny created this really profound psychological bond between the two men.
For an Eagle Warrior, the greatest tragedy wasn't actually dying in battle.
No, the real fear was dying of old age, quietly in a bed, far from honor.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How powerful are the stories we tell ourselves about death?